Morning, everyone. Welcome to
Morning.
Cardano Q&A. So we've got a few things to look at today. We've just been talking about the Bitcoin ETF prior to the recording starting. And certainly we've seen a whole load of outflow from the Grayscale ETF that we weren't quite anticipating, but likely, or certainly the people who've been looking into it seem to see that it's been tracking from Braysale into the other ETFs. So there is still an inflow overall of purchasing Bitcoin by the spot ETFs, but it's not had the impact on the market that we've seen that we're expecting just yet. But if I get my screen showing, there is, some telling signs that we're in for a very good run. Certainly, their adoption of Bitcoin is not slowed down in the slightest. So one thing I do like to look at every now and then is, I'm sure you've all heard of CoinMarketCap. Well, there's another alternative website called Fiat Market Cap, which is an interesting site that tracks the price of currencies denominated in Bitcoin. So you can see how Bitcoin market cap sits in the scheme of nations' currencies. Prior to this, we sort of broke into the top 20 last year, but now looking at it, we're in Bitcoin is at position 16. So when you think about that as a strong indicator of crypto adoption, we've got Bitcoin sitting as large a currency as the top 16 currencies in the world, which is kind of mind-boggling. And it just shows you that this is a one-way train, really. There's such an inflow over such a long period of time now that it is a globally dominant currency and means of exchange and store of value. So there is only good things to come from the crypto market as a whole, and Cardano being a really strong contender in that space is quite exciting too. So there was and also another nice screenshot that I came across this week. Find that for you, of one of the national TV stations in the States. I can't remember which one it was next, but let me get out. You can see it, which is talking about the ETFs and their activity. But in the same breath, they're mentioning the top 4 contenders for the crypto space, really, in DeFi space. And in there was Cardano. So you've got, oh, it's useful. Wait for that to restart. No, go to sleep. Okay. Well, anyway, so you've got Bitcoin and Solana and Ethereum up there, but sitting in third spot is Cardano. So really, if you're filtering out the stable coins, the Ethereum clones from the top currencies, then Cardano is sitting there as really in the place to be, as the contender for taking over from Ethereum's huge success, or certainly benefiting from it in this bull run, if not taking over quite yet. And I think it's a good sign of things to come. So yeah, that was exciting to see. You've got national stations like CNBC talking about DeFi, something you're hitting the public perception to a far greater degree than we have for to date. So yeah, good to see. And Bitcoin sitting in the top 16 of financial currencies is very cool as well. I can never quite figure out why the country's positioning is different to currencies, I guess, because some currencies are using more than one country. Yeah, the countries feel Bitcoin is 22nd. China sitting at the top in terms of its currency being the largest compared to larger than the US dollar now, which is kind of baffling. There we go. Interesting to have a look at that every now and then. So a few other things. Have we got any questions? Feel free to interrupt me. Same format as always. Anything you see that interests you, I say. You just jump in. If you've got any topics you want to cover in terms of workshopy stuff, a good time today. Otherwise, I'll just carry on with the bits that I've found that have been interesting this week.
Could I ask something, Jonathan?
Sure.
The Optim Finance, is that about to conclude? And obviously we can get our stake back, as it were.
Yes, and that was going to be my first topic today, so well done.
Awesome.
If we have a look at Fluid Pool now on pool.pm, we can see that previously we were at 1,000,006. Now we're down to 664,000 ADA. So the £1 million, 1 million ADA stake, which was the borrowed Optim bond that I set up, has now been closed, and that means that anybody who has participated in that bond can now go and claim it. So it was a bit of a workshop exercise. We can go through and actually demo that today, because I bought one lot of my own bond, so I was borrowing from myself, which is kind of baffling. But yeah, so I borrowed 1 million ADA so that I could stake it to the pool and actually give us the opportunity to mint blocks regularly. And also going to talk a little bit about how that's worked out financially. Dinesh, you got a question? Queue up for after this?
Yeah, just when you get on to Fund 11 Catalyst, I'd moved my ADA from the up to into the main wallet, but it didn't actually take a snapshot of the latest balance. So I just wondered how they operate in terms of funds when they take the snapshots. When you get to that topic.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you might have missed the snapshot window, but we'll cover that. I'm going to talk about Catalyst as well. So cool. So yeah, this is the bond exiting the pool, and it shows the pledge wallet. I can get to that, which is here, the owner of the pool. But that was showing at 1,060,000 just yesterday, in fact, and now that 1 million ADA bond has been returned to the lenders. So we're left with 60,000 in the owner wallet, and prior to the bond coming in, I'd set my pledge to 35,000. I think I got out to. Now we're back again to our sort of normal operations. I set the pledge to 50,000, so I've managed to increase the pledge in the pool by 15,000 ADA, which is good, which is a reasonable amount. I hope to get that up, continue adding to that over time, because the more pledge you have, the more sort of commitment to the blockchain you're showing, because you're locking your ADA up into a wallet that stakes to the pool. So the pool, you've got confidence in the pool minting blocks because it's your own money, and the more pledge you have, the more skin in the game people say that you have, and that could be a good indicator for then staking with you. So if we look now at the Optim platform, I've got my bond wallet in Eternal with the DApp connector switched on. So this is what you'd need to do, Paul, if you want to go and check your bond. So select the wallet that you had bought the bond with or invested in the bond with. Use your in Eternal, then use the DApp connector button to turn that on. and we can go over to the dashboard for Optimum Finance. Of course, the homepage lists all the bonds, and you've got a handy link to go over to your page on here. And so anybody that did lend to the fluid pool bond can go over to borrow positions. Bond positions, and down there you'll see that this is now a bond or an NFT that represents the bond that you had lent to the pool, and it's in the state where you can actually redeem it. So it's moved from active bonds. For a very brief period, it was in closable bonds, where anybody who had lent to the pool could actually go and close the bond down because the time period had ended. Again, this is all smart contract driven. There's no human intervention in this point up until the bond becoming active and then closing. So there was no, I couldn't spend the ADA in that bond. All I could do was move that stake key around. So I staked it to Fluid Pool. I could equally have staked it to another one if I chose, but obviously I was keeping the pool going, so I wanted to stake it to the Fluid Pool. And then it automatically checked for my interest balance. So every epoch, I had to go make sure that I'd got my interest being paid, which then gets allotted to each of the lenders. So over the period I lent out, I paid 54,000. This figure in green. In interest payments, I made those to the bond, which again, that ADA went into the smart contract. And now we're in a position at the end of the bond period, those positions can be called back, can be redeemed. So the interest that I was paying as a borrower has now ended up as ADA sitting in that smart contract that I can claim as a lender. So I'm going to go in and claim my 5 ADA interest on the 100 ADA bond demand that I borrowed. That I lent. So I can click redeem now. And again, this is what you'll do, Paul, to redeem. Click redeem again.
Jonathan, if we sort of don't redeem, do you think it will compound, or you have to redeem it?
It's sitting in a smart contract, and it's not staked with any pool anymore, I don't think. So you will have to go in and claim it to get further benefit from that ADA. Of course, you can do that anytime you want. There's no rush. There's no time limit. But yeah, go and redeem it. So it's back in your wallet, and then it's that amount of ADA is restaked to the pool or whichever pool you're staked to, and you can continue to earn, continue to compound that interest. But yeah, it's a call to action. So.
Okay, thanks.
So just to clarify, Jonathan, then we all need to go in and claim. Is that right?
Yeah. So anybody that has lent to that bond, yeah, not to the pool. This is just participated in the bond.
Oh, I see.
So when I was looking to borrow, I let everybody in the pool know who's around at the time, and some people got in. I think Paul got in. So now we can actually go in and redeem the interest for that period. So the benefit of lending to a bond is that the interest rate is invariably higher than the interest rate you can get through just fluid liquid lending. So the rate across the Cardano blockchain is about 3%, 3.2% interest APR on your liquid staking. But that's got the benefit of being completely unlocked, so you can spend it at any time. You can move it between pools. Once you've committed to a bond, then your ADA is locked up in there. You can't spend it. You can't move it around. You don't have control of it for that period of that bond. Bonds can vary from 3 months, maybe even a month, up to 12 months. So it is something worth doing if you've got a chunk of ADA you want to hold for a good amount of time. You might want to increase your returns periodically by participating in a bond. And these bonds are specifically targeted towards stake pool operators. That was the first sort of use case for them. And yeah, they've benefited me, so benefit people.
So you automatically participated, right, in this bond, that means?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you didn't specifically go out to Optum Finance and participate in borrowing and or lending, then you don't have to do this. But yeah, anybody who did participate, Paul particularly included on the call today, he did, so he can come in and follow these actions and redeem the bond, sign that transaction, and shows you your bond token that we returned to you. So in your wallet now, that position is closed. Check in here, we can see the transaction where the token, which was an NFT sitting in our wallet, probably should have shown you first. Don't think it's showing anymore. No, it's actually gone. So that has now been sent back to the Optim platform. We've had an outflow, a negative on the Optim bond token, and an inflow of the ADA. Actually, yeah, figure showing that we see. So 104 ADA has come back to me, and I've given out my one Optim bond token. So for the 100 ADA that I lent to Fluid Pool for the year, I've earned an additional 4.75 ADA on top of that.
Awesome. Thanks, Jonathan.
So yeah, check that. Carry out those steps, and you should be within a bit.
Great stuff. Thank you.
No worries. So yeah, we're back down below the 1 million, or to 1.2 million ADA stake, which means that we won't be minting blocks every epoch. And in fact, even if you are above that threshold, you don't necessarily mint them every epoch. But it means you're over the average, you'll be minting about that frequency. And now we're below that thought threshold. We'll be minting not every epoch, but every other or a bit more. But we will be earning more for every time we actually get a payout, we actually mint a block. The distribution will be larger than if it was coming every epoch. So it balances out over the year is the idea. And there are some perks to benefit to staking with a small pool. One of which is the next thing to have a quick look at, which is Coinector's ISPO. So during the period of the bond, we actually were successful in applying to and getting to participate in the fair initial stake pool offering run by Coinector. That means that anybody who staked a Fluid Pool between epochs 449 and 463 will benefit from being able to claim CNCT tokens in addition to your ADA rewards. Obviously, in that period, the stake pool had its bond, and that 1 million ADA staked to the Coinector BISO, because we're staked Fluid Pool. And so I'm able to claim CNCT tokens for that bond amount as well, which is a good bonus. So actually, in terms of looking at the viability of borrowing to support your pool, I'm kind of speaking to stake pool operators now, just briefly. Then the bond token has to be looked at in several different ways. So you've got the interest payments you're making. So in my case, it's 54,000 ADA paid out. This is a big chunk. In the meantime, price of ADA has gone up when I bought that initial fiat, convert that fiat to buy the interest amount. So that's helped me out. You also are earning ADA rewards for the 1 million ADA that's staked to your pool, which amount to about 36,000, 32,000, something like that. So that offsets against the interest payments of 54 that you've made. And then if you're able to attract any ISPOs, fair initial stake offerings like this, then you actually get to benefit from these other native tokens contributing to your overall gain. So I think over the time, I will look to break even on that bond. And I'm going to actually do some nitty gritty on the figures and share that with the community, so you can check those out. But this is just a quick brief snapshot. So if you are thinking about bonds with Optim, I I thoroughly recommend it. It's a good thing to do. If you've been staked through pool, whether you participate in the bond or not, you can come and benefit from this CNCT token distribution. They haven't released the method for sending it out to you yet. We are currently in Epoch 463. Check that. Cardano Countdown, one of my favorite sites for checking where we are in the Epoch. So we are in Epoch 463 now. That's why the bond was closable. But I think the ICPO is actually continuing to the end of 463 by the looks of things. So if you are currently staked, you'll still continue to accrue for the next 4 days. And we'll be able to claim it at some point after that. I think there's going to be a couple of weeks break after the Epoch 463 ends, and before we'll be able to claim, which they haven't released that page yet. But once that is released, I'll make sure to tell everybody you can come in and claim your additional tokens. This is a launchpad platform, so they will be building technology to launch native tokens on Cardano, just like they did on Ergo. So they will be having their own token claim procedure, whether it's run as a direct airdrop or whether they're actually having to come in and pay the transaction fees to actually get the token distributed to you. I'm not quite sure yet. I imagine it'll be the latter. But yeah, CNCT Coinector will be releasing details of that in the next coming weeks, and I'll make sure everyone knows you can go and claim your tokens. Coinector, the token itself, has been doing well. So if we have a quick scan on tap tools, we can see that since the token launched, we've had a nice uptick in price and usage. It launched at 0.018 ADA per CNCT, or CNCT per ADA, and we're now sitting at 0.119. So a good increase in the value of that token. And it's a new token. The functionality in the platform is reasonably minimal at the moment. They haven't actually launched any tokens other than their own. They haven't even done the actual distribution of the rewards for various stake blocking yet. So we will see utility and adoption of that platform increase over time, which hopefully will correlate with the increase of the token itself. So if you are benefiting from being pledged or staked to any of the FISO pools, including Fluid Pool, then you can, I would say, probably hang on to the token for a little while. Let's watch some price. There may be some dumping after the token gets distributed straight away because people just want to cash out. But I'm going to be holding on to my CNCT for a little while, hopefully riding up into the bull run and picking a good point to take some profits from it. But I like the platform, I like the team, I like what they've been doing. I'll no doubt hold them their token longer term as well. That's one thing to sort of get your head around, is deciding when you're going to sell, how much you're going to sell, and then what you're going to do with the proceeds. Because there is no point in being in this if it's something you can't actually correlate with impact on your personal lifestyle or benefiting somebody else's. So that's one thing we're going to have to get our head around, is once we're into the bull cycle, suddenly time to start looking at selling rather than accruing and then building up. Sorry, Paul, you going to say something?
I was just saying, in our house it only goes one way. We're hogglers. It doesn't go out.
Yeah, that's been my experience so far as well. So I'm gonna have to learn. In this cycle, I do want to make some impact on my lifestyle from all this effort.
I just spend the wife's money.
Yeah.
You're lucky that.
Yeah, don't tell her. Shh.
Yeah, a little bit ominous. Sounds like you're going to bump her off.
You love to show us the trick.
That's all right. It's all in my wallet.
No, Marie, I'm sure she's got the keys somewhere though, so it won't be too complicated. Good.
So I've got a question then, Jonathan, on this one, on connector. Yesterday I was trying to check the on the site and put my address in. What? But it didn't recognize my password, spending password. So which password should I be using? Is it the password that I use for staking?
No, so it's not a password at all.
Ah,
You only ever need the password when you're actually signing a
yes.
transaction. So in
So I
this
went
case,
in. Yes, I put in when you click connect. What's the, like, and while on it, what's the email? What's the website address?
the
Is it
website connector.fi, which is the
finance?
yeah, short for finance. I drop that into the chat for you. Can find the chat. Yep. Then
Click sign in.
once you get there and click the sign in button, then you can connect your wallet. But in fact, you don't even need to do that at this stage because
Oh.
the wallet connection, I don't know if they've got any functionality that uses the wallet connection as of yet. So they've got this token launch
That's
project.
probably what wasn't working for me yesterday.
Perhaps, yeah. But all this really does is take you through to the initial stake pool offering for their token. So you can, because you can't claim the token yet, they haven't just released the claim or the redeem page feature, then all you want to do is check to see how much your wallet address has earned in terms of CNCT. So to do that, you just need the receive address from your wallet or the stake address. So for this Fluid 7 wallet, which was staked to the pool for the period, go into the summary page.
So just step one back a bit. So I'm on connector page. How did you get to that Pfizer page?
So
Click
if you go to project, top,
yeah.
and then learn more. Actually,
Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, got it.
it's saying complete on there now. I noticed that before, so I think it is actually over already. So it closed at the start of Epoch 463.
So
Then once you've done that, you can go to the FISO, fair initial stake pool offering. And here it's doing end soon still. So, yeah, not quite sure whether it's over or not, but either way, we can't do anything about it just yet. So it's irrelevant to us. But once you're here, then you have this paste an address to see the rewards box. So I'm going to.
So is that your internal address?
Yeah.
Internal wallet address.
Yeah. And I believe it works either with the stake key, which is on the summary page. I'm going to grab that. I haven't tried it with that on this wallet yet. And you can paste that into that address box, click submit, and it will then calculate what the rewards in CNCT will be.
Okay.
Cool. I'm going to get 150 CNCT tokens for having staked a fluid pool over this period, 449 to 463. And the same would work for any of the receive addresses as well. So you can go to the receive tab and grab that address, for example. Paste that in here as well. And it should come up with the same balance. Same balance. There we go.
Oh, wow. Right. Yep. I've successful. I've used the stake key. I'm gonna get quite a few, nearly 4K.
Excellent. So that will turn into a nice little addition to your holdings once you can claim them. Decide what to do with them. So I did briefly see, that they have staking for the CNCT tokens. So I don't know if that's released yet as well, but Once that does, then from the CNCT you've been able to claim that 4,000 in your case, Dinesh, you will be able to then, once it's in your wallet, come back to this sort of Coinector platform and actually stake it to their platform and earn additional CNCT on top of that. So if you want to continue accruing CNCT and keep an eye on the price, then that's an additional bonus that they'll be offering, which is good. It's very nice to see.
And is that locked? Is that locked in? Or does it say whether it is locked in for a certain length of time?
They don't have any details on it on this page yet. They might have a white paper on it somewhere in the
Good to
documentation.
know.
But
That's good to know.
yeah,
Thank you for that.
actually there. But St. John's thinking, see if it tells us if they lock in. But I've got tiers in terms of the amount of CNCT you're holding and got staked. And is that diminishing returns or additional? So the more CNCT you hold, there's a tiering system. So your increased weight, the more CNCT you hold. So, and those tiers will relate to how much stake you earn, I imagine. Yeah. But it doesn't mention locking or periods or anything like that. So we'll probably have to wait until it's actually up and about to know for sure. So they've actually got their staking contracts on chain now by the looks of things. They've got an unlock date on their contract, so it will be locked for a period, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Cool. So yeah, the details are on here actually. But perhaps something we can go and have a look in ourselves independently and come back and report back later. So yeah, their contracts are written. Looks like they're either going through audit or are on chain already. They're written in Aiken, which is a new language. So it's not Haskell, Plutus. Aiken is a new language that's got some benefits over and above Plutus in terms of speed. So that's quite exciting. And it's great to have another team contributing to the languages that will run Cardano smart contracts. So Aiken's an exciting addition to the ecosystem, and it's being adopted at pace. It's far easier seems to be far easier to develop contracts in Aiken than it is in Plutus in terms of if you're coming from other languages. So that's good to see as well, increasing developer activity on the network with alternative options for languages to choose. Good. So yeah, Coinector's doing a good job, and yeah, I'll be one to keep an eye on. Good. So the other thing that is having not quite as much success, well, actually lots and lots of success still, but had an issue, a hiccup in its launch, was Axo. So they launched their own token launch platform instead of using one of the off-the-shelf ones, by asking MinSwap to run it for them or Coinector or something like that. So Axo, who are formerly known as Maladex, built this really, really powerful trading platform on Cardano. And they actually had their own token launch running through an iteration of their trading platform. And they had initial teething problems at launch where some flaws were found in the platform in terms of user interface, not in terms of contracts or anything like that. And so they ran it for the defined period, but instead of then doing the token launch at the end of it, they actually said, we're going to run a second iteration of this liquidity seed event, they called it, which isn't currently running. So they are doing another price discovery session at the moment. And the sort of price had seemed to be reaching much higher levels and was looking to establish at that, according to the initial LSE event. So you can see the action over time. Came in high at 16, did drop all the way down to 7.98, and then climbed all the way back up to 16, 17 again. In fact, it did hit 18. But since then, and in the last week, I think it's been since about the 23rd, last few days, the LSE event was opened up again. You see the price has actually dropped back down to 12. It did hit a low of 11.5, something like that. So it does look like if you wanted to get in, that's going to be the region it sits at about. At launch, it'll probably be around, or anywhere between 10 and 12, certainly. So actually, it's back at 12 at the moment. So yeah, if you wanted to get in, now is not a bad price. It may go higher again. But I'm gonna hold off. I made my decision at the initial LSE that I'd just wait until token launched, it settled for a month or so, and then look at getting in. The AXO token does look to be a really powerful token in terms of accruing value over time. So they've got some really innovative strategies for making their token more and more valuable in terms of scarcity and utility. If you hold the token, you will have benefits from being a participant in the platform itself. And there's some other things I do want to get my head around over time, and I'll come back and share them here. But yeah, again, AXO looks like a really exciting platform. Very excited for their strategies when they do go full blown public with it and their tokens. So that is AXO. If you want to participate in the LSE in the token price evaluation period, it is ongoing at the moment. You can get back in on that if you missed it the first time around.
Yeah, I remember I took part in that, and then the price he put in was far too low compared to what it's showing now. I'm just going to hold back as well. But it does look like a really powerful platform.
Yeah, it is exciting. But yeah, a bit pricey for me to just throw too much ADA at. There's other things going on that I'm excited about. So the Fluid tokens, which is a lending borrowing platform, that had its token launch last week as well. So I participated in that instead of AXO's in the end. And that token is doing very well too. So quick scan of that while we're here, I'll mention it. And since its launch, it's been heading up as well. So launched at 2.24, it's about 0.25 ADA. And that's 0.58. So we're doubling its value. It's good to see. So again, one to watch. They've got another mature. They built out their platform before they launched the token. Been running for a good year or two, I think. And they're coming up with innovations now. Version 2, the smart contracts, got new utility launching. So along with their token, there's lots of activity there, which hopefully will turn into some good price appreciation. One of the things that they have launched, so it's worth getting a quick scan of their platform actually, is an offering that's very similar to the Optim bonds. So if you go to tokens.com, you can get their sort of website. Excuse me. Get an idea on their roadmap, see what they're coming out with next. So in Q1, they're launching their DAO. So governance of the platform decision making will actually be done by the community of Fluid token holders, rather than just coming from the team themselves, which is a really good move for any platform on in the DeFi space. Be inclusive, get everybody making your decisions for you rather than just relying on individual genius if you get it wrong, and stupidity if you get it wrong, if you get it right and wrong, you know what I'm saying. And they've got a roadmap, lots of development coming, which is quite good to see. So they're even looking to talk to Midnight, which is the privacy chain for Cardano, using some of their abilities within their platform. So great to see other platforms looking at adopting Midnight as well. And as you probably know, if you've been listening to this channel for a while, if you are a holder of ADA, then you will receive an airdrop of a token, one of the primary tokens on Midnight Network when that does launch. So they have a token. The only token they mentioned so far is Dust. I'm not sure if that's a token that's going to be airdropped to us, but certainly there will be one of their tokens, primary tokens, launched with an airdrop to Cardano, so to ADA holders, which is exciting. But yeah, Fluid Tokens is a lending borrowing platform. They look at letting you offer your NFTs as collateral for loans. They're also looking to move into the real world asset space, which is going to be huge in 2024, 2025. Lots of different platforms established on Cardano are looking at real world assets. And Maker is one that comes to mind in particular. And of course, we've got Empower already there doing their real estate developments. So this is the FLD token looks like a good one to hold, even though it's related to lending borrowing. They have got lots of things on their pipeline that will be utility above and beyond that. They're based in South America. And, yeah, very warm team, working with lots of good guys around the space, well respected, well trusted, and have gone through the slow, steady approach of getting their tokens, getting their contracts audited thoroughly, with the external providers who don't exclusively do Cardano work, but are established in the DeFi space for a long time. And they have some very well-known ambassadors, Pete from Learn Cardano in particular, but also Linda and Carolina from Petite Ada on Twitter. They're very active, and Linda's a stake pool operator as well. So you can check out those guys, and they all have videos and material content that helps promote Fluid tokens. So the app itself has this new feature that launched a little while ago, last month or so, I think, which is called Boosted Stake. So in a similar vein to Optim bonds, with Fluid Boosted Stake, you can borrow a chunk of ADA, offering up collateral in something else. So in terms of Optim bonds, you're putting up ADA to borrow more ADA, and you're paying interest on that. It's a similar thing with Boosted Stake. You can actually use it for scenarios that you might find yourself in, like if there is an initial stateful offering that you want to take part of for a period of time, you could leverage the ADA that you were going to put into that ISPO by putting that ADA instead into a Boosted Stake yield offering. So you put your ADA in there, which would then let you borrow twice as much ADA in terms of staking ADA. So that would then let you put that staking ADA into the ISPO and effectively earn twice as much of that native token than you would be able to just going in with the ADA that you hold yourself. You do pay interest on that ADA, so you will lose some of that ADA by the end of it, because you're paying interest. And they seem to be hovering around the 7% marks in the ADA. Put into it, you can paying as interest. But if you're sure, you're confident in the ISPO token being more value than the ADA you will lose in terms of paying interest, then this could be a very good strategy for benefiting from it. Another use case for this boosted stake is to actually borrow to increase your voting weight, either in a governance vote on one of the small projects or in Project Catalyst. So there was a Optim bond that was used for boosting the voting power of the Optim team in last Project Catalyst Fund 10. So they put up a 15 million ADA bond, borrowed that ADA effectively, then paid any of the lenders interest on it, but used that 15 million ADA to vote on their own projects to try and secure funding. I don't think it actually resulted in them gaining funding, which is a shame. But that's a way to really boost your vote power, is by participating in Optim bonds or now on boosted stake on Blue tokens. And again, it's always good to have multiple offerings of similar products, because then you can have market choice, market optimizations and efficiencies being forced onto these platforms to make sure that they're operating solid product offerings and with efficient pricing. And so if you do want to participate as a lender or as a borrower, you can come on here and check it out. If you've got a chunk of ADA you want to lend, you can choose how much APR you're looking to earn and how long you're willing to lend for if you want to borrow, vice versa. How much ADA you want to borrow and for how long. So it's an interesting offering that lots of people have been taken by it. I think they've within the first few weeks of launch, they'd already had 1 million ADA come through boosted stake. So a very popular offering. Again, it hasn't got the maturity of Optim bonds, so I haven't tried it yet, and I don't have a particular use case for it in mind. And the interest amounts all seem to be higher than I would want to take up as a borrower yet. But yeah, good thing to have a look at if you're interested though. Yeah, question there?
Yeah, I did see a YouTube video on this project.
Okay.
And they did talk about you can lend or you can borrow. So what I wasn't sure about, what's the risk if we were to lend our ADA? Do we actually give it to them, or do we hold it in a smart contract? So what's the risk if that project goes down, for example?
Mm-hmm. Again, it's very similar to Optim bonds. So you're not handing your ADA over to the hands of somebody else who can spend it. You're just giving them the staking power for that ADA. So they can change where the stake key is pointed. So if you lend, so say someone puts up a bond for 100,000 ADA, you lend 10,000 ADA, your 10,000 goes into a smart contract, and then that smart contract staking key can be controlled by the person who borrowed, who made the initial bond borrow or the boosted stake borrow in this instance. And so they can then point that stake key at any stake pool that they want and earn those native tokens for the 100,000 ADA that they've borrowed. So in terms of the lender, you're not at risk of them spending your ADA. All they can do is move that stake key around, and you are guaranteed to get a payout according to the terms of that smart contract. So you will get your capital back, and you'll get interest for the period that the bond runs for, and that's guaranteed by the smart contract. So if you trust the smart contracts, and in the case of Optim bonds, they've been running for well over a year with no issues whatsoever. They were audited by well-known teams on the staking circuit. So yeah, I really trust those Optim bond tokens contracts. The Optim, the fluid token contracts, I don't know as well. Haven't seen how they're operating. They haven't been up for as long, but they operate in the same fashion, and they have been obviously audited by really good labs. So I assume they're as secure. But that's only something you learn over time, over maturity. Everything's stable and secure until a vulnerability is found.
Okay, so what we're saying is that there's always a risk to knowing how safe the smart contract is up front. And then the other aspect in that case is if the borrower fails to pay up, does the smart contract consider what action it takes?
Yeah, so in the instance that the borrower can't pay the interest or doesn't pay the interest, then
Yeah.
the smart contract will just trigger its liquidation clause. So then any of the lenders can go in and liquidate that bond. In the case of Optum bond or in boosted stake, they can liquidate the boosted stake, and the duration that the bond ran for, that's the amount of interest you'll earn just for that period rather than for the full length of it. So either way, you're getting your capital back, guaranteed. It just the variable is how long that bond runs for will determine how much of the potential interest you'll get back. But yeah, it's a very fair kind of system.
So because it's quite a new concept, it's difficult to get your head around. So
Yeah.
So I think the learning points here is you can lend through a smart contract, and assuming the borrower pays up, everything's hunky dory. If the borrower doesn't abide by the terms and conditions, then the smart contract triggers, and then you can get whatever the capital plus the remainder back. But the risk is still in how smart the smart contract, how safe the smart contract is. That's always going to have to be a learning point to consider.
Yeah, and the guys who are writing these contracts, these platforms, their entire reputation is based on the quality of the contracts that they write. And when you're writing a smart contract, you're operating not so much in the software. I sort of think of it not so much in the software space as in the hardware, because you're writing something that's then being written onto the blockchain. And once it's on the blockchain, it can't be changed again. So it's like writing firmware for a router, and then you send your router out into the world, you sell it. Now you can do firmware updates, but you're relying on the customer to actually make that firmware update. So you can't go back and retrieve that device to do an upgrade. With cars, we have factory recalls, and you need to send your car back in because it's got a problem with the vent or something like that. With smart contracts, there is no callback. There is no return. Your code is on blockchain. The blockchain is unchangeable forever. So anybody can then interact with that smart contract. If there's a flaw in it, your flaw is there forever. So you really want to get it right first time. And that's why you pay an extortionate amount of money to get your contracts audited by other developers, by external teams. And you spend a lot of time testing and running on test nets, preview, pre-prod, DevNet, Sancho, whatever the alternative test network is that you're playing on. You get your work really, really thoroughly reviewed before it goes on chain. And so far, there's been a really good record of the contracts written onto the Cardano blockchain. They've been all really high quality. But this is a different proposition than relying on the core fundamentals of the blockchain itself. You are relying on a software developer's code who hasn't written the blockchain. You're relying on someone who's learned, understood how the blockchain works and written a contract on it. But they are independent, private enterprises. They've got a different agenda to the guys who wrote the blockchain itself. So IOG were probably the best. If you want to have a smart contract ring, you're probably best going to IOG. Their devs are probably going to be the best because they wrote the protocol itself. But these are the teams, especially if they've been established, they've got all their business relying on the success of their smart contracts. They tend to be, pretty trustworthy. And once a smart contract has reached maturity, it's been tried and tested for millions of ADA, then certainly you can just make a fairly well-informed assumption that the contract is secure. Vulnerabilities aren't going to be found after a year or so. And so you can jump in and use them with a high degree of confidence. High degree of confidence than you can anything in the world, really. So, yeah, they are good.
Great, thank you.
Utan, well then.
Hi,
Thank you.
I think we probably need to revisit the one thing you mentioned earlier. And I think it's Optim Finance. I'm trying to sort of like see if I could redeem any data from there, but I'm slightly struggling really. So I've done, as you said, I have done DApp connection in my internal wallet.
Uh-huh.
Then I'm the Optim Finance this web page. So I've got dashboard in front of me. So would you be able to walk through where I need to go look into to see my ADA redeemable claim?
So you've definitely got the right wallet that you bought, that you lent Ada into, as a DApp connector.
So one of the things is did you said I have to do something to because I haven't really learned anything. So I thought it was from the flute. Maybe I misunderstood.
Oh yeah, no. So if you're staked with Fluidpool, that's a different thing than having participated in an Optim bond. So you would have had to come a year ago to the Optim Finance platform when I had the bond up for purchase, and then put in Ada into the platform to then be earning interest on that. So if you didn't do that, then you don't have anything to do. This was only for Paul.
How do I check? Is there any way of checking it? Because I have no sort of idea. Maybe just so I wasn't
Right.
sure.
So in the wallet itself, in Eternal,
Yeah.
come to that's what summary page. Go to token list.
In the wallet itself. So I'm in my wallet.
Yeah.
I got like token list. Yeah. And token list. If I see, so I need to see something to do it Optim, right?
So yeah. So in that token list, there will be an Optim bond token. So this I can show you here. Mine's got an Optim borrower token, not a bond token.
Yeah,
So
it's,
the
a blue diamond. If you
Yeah.
haven't got the blue diamond in there, you haven't got it, and you haven't lent the money out to get it.
So it's
Yeah.
sort of shaped like that.
Sorry, it's covered by my my window. So let me just add. Quite likely I don't have it because a blue sort of diamond, right? Because I can't see you because my screen's covered.
Okay. Yeah. So it's I think if you imagine a 3D diamond sitting on its point, but it's really like a sort of cube, just
Yeah,
rotated 90 degrees, then it looks like that, and it's blue in colors.
I know.
But if that NFT is not in your wallet, then you didn't participate in the bond, so you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, it looks like I haven't. Yeah, no. Okay.
I don't think I've got a screenshot of it. There might be one on the web page itself, actually. So yeah, there we go. So
Okay.
it will look like this one here.
Yeah, I see. Yeah,
So
I don't.
if you haven't got anything like that in your wallet, then you didn't participate in the bond, so no need to worry.
Yeah, I haven't. Okay, that's fine. Okay, then. Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah.
So Fluid tokens got boosted stake. The other thing I talked about on Fluid tokens a couple of weeks ago was you can rent NFTs. So lending, borrowing, people can come on here. If they've bought an NFT, they can stick it up for rent, and then they can charge. Typically, seems to be around 1 or 2 ADA per day for people who want to borrow that NFT, and then the lender is earning, a little bit of cash flow from their NFT, and the borrower has got some use case for the NFT that they can then go away and use. So I borrowed a Zercher NFT, this one at the top in the middle, which then let me access the pro features on the due diligence platform from Cerberus. So I could go and do some token research for the day while I borrowed that NFT. And it was I tried it out, proved to see how it worked, and it works really smoothly. It was very, very cool experience. So that's some utility that you can get from having an NFT. So again, this is starting to get utility on NFTs that is above and beyond just the pretty picture that you get with it. So some other really good utilities you can get from them. So if anybody's used Tap Tools, which I'm on every day, for looking through tokens and checking out the value of markets and how projects are doing, then there's got a whole load of really powerful pro features on here. Like you can go to a wallet profiler, and if there's any address on the network that you want to check out, you can come and see exactly what's in the wallet, see whether they've been buying or selling, what tokens they've been looking at. So if you want to find someone to follow in terms of a whale wallet who is a good trader, then you can come and do some snooping on their activities in here. Because we're an open public permissions blockchain, so anybody can participate like this. And if you wanted to get the access to the pro features on Tap Tools, but you don't want to pay buy the token yourself because it's now got quite an expensive floor price. So if you were looking to purchase a Tappy because you didn't participate in the initial mint, then you'd be paying a minimum of 1,374 ADA. That's the cheapest Tappy available, which is obviously quite a lot of ADA. But you can, if you just want to play with the tools, with the pro tools, do an evaluation before you buy into one of these tokens long term, and then you might come to Fluid tokens instead, borrow a Tappy. And if we have a look, we can see you can borrow them for 1 ADA a day. Someone got it down for 2 ADA, 1.5, 3 ADA a day. There are lots of these tokens available for just renting. So instead of paying out 1,400 ADA to buy one, you could say, okay, for the next month, I'm going to rent it, stick 30 ADA into a renting of an ADA of a Tappy on here, and then I can access Tap Tools for a month. And so a really good way, if you did have multiple Tappies, you could then put them into this platform to earn some ADA off them. So then you're diminishing your entry price on that NFT, or you can actually just as a borrower go and get some utility from it. Some other things on here which are really interesting are the book.io NFTs are listed on here now as well. So if you are a book collector or an avid reader, you can go on here and borrow, almost like a library. You can go in and rent books from this platform, have a good read. Any books that I'm interested in reading. Hardy Boys, go back to your youth and read it. Tarzan of the Apes, you get on to read. Darwin's Origin of Species. We're not that dated now, but yeah, some really good books. You can go in and read that. Kama Sutra's there if you're feeling racy. But yeah, really, again, innovation coming to the platform it gives you an indication of the future of utility. So, if there is a platform that has ever released an NFT, they can now add utility for anybody that holds that NFT. So like Playmint, I talked about 3 years ago, 2.5 certainly, as one of the first gaming platforms building on Cardano. They were participants in Project Catalyst. They're actually creating a token earning ability that any gaming platform can use. So if you're someone who plays Fortnite, you can actually earn PMX token just from your gaming activity, and that PMX is then sellable into fiat tokens. So you can actually fund your gaming activities by your success on their platform, and you get perks and bonuses and access to additional games by holding their Purple Founder NFT. So again, you can either buy it from JPEG Store, or you can come on and rent it from Fluid Tokens for, you got a holiday coming up over Christmas. You're going to do lots of gaming. You can go and borrow one of these Playmint NFTs and see what you can earn for a month or for a week. your game activity. So, this when we were talking about NFTs 2 years ago, it was very hard to grasp why on earth anybody would pay extra, exchange their hard-earned data for a pretty picture of a Bored Ape or something like that. Now you can start to see that there's more utility than just pictures. And this platform is doing a good job of making it accessible to people at really low prices. They're very cool things to come and play with. So again, a bullish indicator for Fluid Tokens platform as a whole, and that lends itself to their own token FLDT being valuable over time. So you just want to get
Is this
hold of
our,
that. It's available for swapping on any of the dexes now. Sorry, Itan.
no, is this our platform, this one, Fluid? Is it the same Fluid like ours, or it's different, completely different, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not a participant, not a stakeholder, not a developer for the Fluid Tokens team. I did apply to be one of their ISPO pools when they were launching their token, but we didn't get picked, so it was a shame. I have interacted with the guys, and El Rolito, the head developer in the team, founder in the team, he's actually joined the Fluid Discord server, so he is on our Discord server if you wanted to reach out to him. But yeah, they're good guys doing really good work. But yeah, not related to Fluid Pool in any way, shape, or form. Or Fluid, my web development, my business. So yeah.
So Jonathan, one thing I have got is in my wallet, I do have this NFT, which is from Machiavellic. It's OG Silver.
Nice.
Can I sort of rent it out, or can I do anything with it? It's just been there, so.
You could try. The Machiavellic game hasn't launched yet, so there's not much. There's no utility for that NFT. So someone's not likely to rent it from you until there's some utility, some use case for that NFT. But saying that, when the game launches, absolutely you could rent it out. I'm sure people would be interested in having access to that NFT to use in the game for a while, depending on utility. Because with some of the Machiavellic NFTs, I know in particular, they are gaming characters. So if you've got an officer pass, then you're actually in the game, you'll be running around as an officer. However, if you get killed as that officer in the game, then your NFT dies as well, effectively. And in the game itself, you're immortalized. That character is immortalized. You get a statue built for you, and it stays in the game world forever. But the NFT itself, you can't accrue additional points for it or anything like that. They may have some additional utility that might make it worthwhile to keep hold of the NFT and maybe rent it out or sell it on. But yeah, depending on the utility that the game is built out, will depend on how valuable or useful that NFT is to rent or lend. But certainly one to keep an eye on. And any other NFTs you've got, people are renting it. So I participated in the Meld ISPO, which was the first ISPO on Cardano, really. Certainly the last one, first one at scale. If you participated in that for a certain amount of time, you could get hold of the Meld Bank Manager, which is a way of earning additional interest on your lending, borrowing on the Meld platform. So you could actually I could come and lend my Bank Manager NFT on Fluid Tokens, or the Diamond Hands NFT as well. I think I've seen one of those on here as well. So again, any NFTs that you have in your wallet, it's worthwhile checking to see if they have got any utility in their initial platforms, and then you can come and see if there's a rental market for them on here and what sort of price they may be attracting in terms of renting. So you could rent The Last of the Mohicans for 3 ADA a day, or lend it out. So anybody that wants to read it can just come and borrow the book instead of rent the book instead of buying it outright.
Any idea when the Machiavellic will be sort of like be launch? Is still far away? Because last time I heard it was like I think I'm in Discord there somewhere, but I don't know when they mentioned
been talking about them every now and then. The team are still building, doing a whole load of development work. They partnered with a game promotion platform which operates on other chains as well. So they've actually been able to outsource a lot of their promotion work, which is great. They still have their ambassador, for who's now a member of the team, Fletcher, who runs the stake pool of Room, stake pool, carpool, and he, in fact, I introduced him to Machiavellic, so he's done really well, worked hard for the team, and he's now a member of the Machiavellic team, and he does the promotional work and community building in partnership with FGL. So FGL have been running more token mints on other platforms, on other chains as well, the Wax chain. But the utility of the game itself is being developed. They've got a dashboard coming out soon, I think. With the first thing we get to see. But yeah, the game hasn't launched yet. They don't have a launch date. You know, building a game like this is a long, slow process. Yeah. One of the NFTs they launched was the marketplace shard. So it's the only NFT that you'll actually be able to hold and never actually use in the game. But by holding it, you'll earn from every player in the game. So the bigger the adoption of the game itself, the more powers that shard will have to earn for you. So that's an interesting one. And again, that's available for purchase on the secondary market now. And I think they're still offering some on the Wax chain. You could go and get hold of one of those if you wanted to. But yeah, the NFTs you bought already, utility for those hasn't arrived yet. So we'll see. The dashboard may have some utility in it, I'm not sure. But it won't be the playable game itself yet either. But yeah. I was looking for the dashboard the other day and I couldn't find it, so I'm still fumbling a bit. But, yeah. They're certainly being active, certainly not dying. They're working really hard and getting some good attention, which is good to see. And so yes, as part of my plans, the Optim bond has gone back now, so the pool doesn't have that million ADA stake. So, excuse me, I'm thinking of creating my own token claim. So we ran one for Gimbal tokens, and I'm actually holding quite a amount of Machiavellic, so I'm thinking of running an ISPO for some Machiavellic tokens and some Optim tokens. So that I'll be releasing details on that in the next few weeks, which will mean that you can actually go and claim them from our own token platform of choice and add that to your collections just by being a stake at a fluid pool. But I haven't nailed down the detail on that yet. So yeah, we have got some exciting things coming up. But you can't use your Machiavellic NFTs just quite yet.
Got it.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right. So a couple of things I wanted to touch on briefly was the ADA Markets platform was launched. I did talk about this a couple of weeks ago. This is a DEX aggregator. So should not be showing myself what's happening there. Make sure it's on the speak at the moment. Yeah, right. Anyway, so ADA Markets is a decentralized exchange aggregator. So instead of going to MinSwap, and just seeing the trades available from Min platforms, you could actually use Dex Hunter, which I've shown several times now, and Dex Hunter will pull together orders and available available swaps from all the other, several of the other exchanges. And Muesli Swap do it as well. And now Ada Markets is a new Dex aggregator. So you could come in and try this out, see if you can get a better price for the Ada swap that you want to do on here. So for example, if you were buying I can look at that. They've got some gimbals. Yeah. So I don't think Gimbal have got any liquidity anywhere. That won't work. Yeah. That's an AGIX, 2 AGIX. If I wanted to get a price for selling 2 AGIX to get me 1.099 ADA. And you can see that the DEX aggregator has picked the best platform for doing that swap on. So ADA markets aren't developers of MinSwap, but you can see that they've got best prices from MinSwap, MinSwap, and Binance, and they've picked the best price available at the moment by swapping using the MinSwap platform. So you don't have to go over to MinSwap; you can just do it directly from here, and that swap will be carried out knowing that you're getting the best price available for the markets by using the aggregator rather than the other. So if you see the price on these other exchanges isn't quite as good as it is on MinSwap. So you've got some research work done for you by just coming to the DEX aggregator. And this is now operating on mainnet. You can come and try it out with real values. The other great feature they have is up here you've got a readout of how busy the blockchain is itself, 42%. That's a good indicator on if you're finding slow swaps or anything like that. It might be because the chain is congested, and that's a nice place to see a percent figure. Some of those exchanges do have a busy network or chain is loaded, but that's actually put a figure on it, which I like. The DCA feature is quite good. I did briefly mention it the other day. So you can come in, and if you want to buy into a particular native token, so say you decided, okay, I want to buy 1,000 FLDT tokens. Now that they are available for on the exchange because the token generation event has happened, you should be able to come in, find that fluid token and say, okay, I want to spend this 5,000 ADA buying FLD tokens, but I don't want to buy them all at once. I want to do a dollar cost averaging. So I'm going to add a DCA. Okay, and say I want to buy FLD tokens at 0.5. So you can say 500. You say 25%. So yeah, if the price hits 0.5 ADA per FLDT per ADA, then you could buy 25%. It's 35% of the token here. Get another DCA, buy another 25% here. And so it's splitting that 5,000 into different orders for you.
So it's still with ADA only, right, Jonathan? We don't have this for Bitcoin stuff, other sort of like current coins, right?
This is just on the Cardano blockchain, yeah. So anything that's available on Cardano, you can do it through, but not Bitcoin native or Solana or Polkadot, anything like that.
Do you know any other tool like obviously this is related to ADA, but do you know any other like tool where I can do for like a Bitcoin?
The centralized exchanges is the only place you can do that. So
Can you do like a dollar DCA? I'm not sure. Okay, maybe again. Okay.
yeah, no, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some out there though. It's probably worth doing a search for CEX and DCA, and somebody will turn up a feature, I'm sure. But yeah,
Okay.
that's not then DeFi. That will be just using a private enterprise and giving them your tokens to DCA into another things. This is actually all the tokens stay in your wallet, and then
Yeah.
you're purchasing other tokens directly from your wallet. So um you're using smart contracts to execute the trades for you from your wallet.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a very powerful feature of maintaining custody the whole time, not having to interact with private enterprise, just with your holding and smart contracts, which is only available in the DeFi space. So yeah, you do have to pick a chain for that at the minute, but I'm sure it'll come a day when we've got really strong interoperability between chains. So you could actually buy native Bitcoin through a DCA method on Cardano. But at the moment, the only way to do that really is by using wrapped assets. So you'd have wrapped Bitcoin and DCA into them from ADA. But that's assuming someone brought over a decent amount of Bitcoin using one of the bridges, like WAN chain or Wing Riders, no commoner. So yeah, these features are all coming, but at the moment, this is a way of doing DCA just with your ADA holdings into one of the native tokens. I don't think you can do native token to native token yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got Bitcoin from that's come over on one chain there, but that's a bridge token, not as safe and robust as Bitcoin native. But you can redeem them for Bitcoin native. Is the idea.
Yeah.
CBLT to it looks like you can. You can actually do native token to native token, which is very cool. So you don't even have to put in your ADA because you can actually just swap between. Oh, there's a bug. Swap between two different tokens in your wallet. Maybe it don't. Maybe it won't. If I was going from CBLT to, I think it's a bug. The ADA stuff. Yeah, just have to be ADA paired with something else. So the way you can do it BCA. Oh no, that was the limit order. BCA. Fine. So yeah, ADA to a native token or vice versa, but not native token to native token. There we go. That's ADA markets. Go and check them out. Have a play. One last thing, touch on Project Catalyst. So I forgot what the question was we had at the beginning of Project Catalyst. I can't remember what you last season. Or am I making that up? No, we're all going to touch Catalyst for some reason. I think Dinesh asked. I don't know if you're at the screen at the moment, though, Dinesh. Sorry if you are. So Project Catalyst, voting is now open. So selection of projects should now get going in earnest. I've started compiling my bookmark list, which I can share with you. It's not very full yet, but as an example of how it will work. So on Lido Nation, which I think is going to be my platform of choice for gathering my votes and researching the projects, you can create an account on here, and then actually have a login. So I've got my email address and I've just got Wallet Connect as well. But then that gives you the ability to bookmark projects and create like a voting ballot that you can share with other people. So on here, I've done a search for Gimbal Labs because I support this project, the Gimbal Labs team, wherever I can. And they've got some really good projects on here. Particularly interested in the Andamio platform because in Fund 12, I'll be proposing to build a proposal on the Andamio framework. They've got Game Changer on here, which is a great team building out a really powerful wallet, web wallet, and they're actually resurrecting one of the long-term projects that I've been a participant in, which is Dandelion, which is providing infrastructure of the Cardano APIs for the public use. So they've got a proposal here, so I'll no doubt go and have a look at that. To bookmark, you've got this little thing at the top right. Just give that a click. Select the list you want to pop it in. A little bug there showing up. Oh, that's it there. Once you've done that, then it will add that proposal into that bookmark list that you can retrieve at any point in time. So then you can go away, have your lunch, come back, do some more research, add some more bookmarks, and in a week's time you'll have a nice voting list put together. It will then let you go and have at least one place to rapidly browse through using the voting app. Again, I don't think we've got a desktop voting app yet. But that is coming, it's promised. So we'll see. Then to retrieve your bookmark list. Go to your dashboard and draft ballots. Oh. Sorry, the ballots are a different feature to bookmarks. So on my bookmarks, you can just go to on your dashboard, you can just go to my bookmarks and then view the list of proposals that you've selected so far. And so once I've got this filled out, you can then all come in here and have a look at it. I think to share it, you need to do an export. It doesn't seem to work. What I'll probably just do is grab that URL. Let's try this. Session. Nope. Yeah, good. This is a session, this browser session. Yeah, so I can share that URL with you and everybody can go in there and find all the projects I'm looking at. But yeah, I'll get this filled out, share that on the Discord, and then have a look. I can give you the URL now, but it's a bit sparse, so you can go through and start reading as I put it together. And certainly there is there are fewer projects this time round than there were last time, but still 950 is still too many for me to actually be able to read them all. So if you find some that you're interested in that I haven't seen, do share them with me. Likewise, set up a bookmark list and let's crowdsource our learning and our project evaluation. On the proposal list itself, you can set filters, really complex filters. So you just choose 111. Oh, sorry, it's 920 proposals. 111, so it's even fewer. And it was like 1,500 previous rounds. Yeah, 1,471 in 110. They're dropping it to 920, probably because there was a whole load of restructuring and more stringent requirements to get your proposal in the right challenge or category, as they're now called. And I fell foul of that and put my proposal in with too big a budget, just because I've copied the wrong value from the wrong field in my draft. But yeah, I didn't get it corrected in time to actually make the ballot this time. So I'll be reproposing in Fund 12. So I don't have any proposals, so you don't have to find me anything. But yeah, you can go through and see if you want to find just open source proposals, and whether they've started or not, and actually started building or not, whether it's additional funding, and so forth. Another great feature of our donation is you can just you can filter for proposals that produced a video which will give you a short, palatable way of seeing the project. The direct said I always look at their proposal. Simon's a good builder, good startup business, doing great work in Africa, onboarding students into Cardano and providing businesses with developers. So you can go and catch up on some of the proposals just by just viewing their quick pitches, which is a good way. They've even got playlists for all of the available ones in this fund, which is running your own little idea fest. Of course, I've mentioned Idea Fest is a good way of finding out about projects on Project Catalyst is by attending an Idea Fest, and Catalyst Africa, I think they've got an Idea Fest. Domain name. I think Africa have one and South America as well. So. I can't remember. Yes. It's struggling. Okay. I will dig those links out and put them in the Discord server, so you can go pick them up later. But a good source of information again is just the projectcatalyst.io website. Whether these have got links to the idea, I'm not sure, because the idea is a community-run events. But certainly they talk about them in the town hall. So if you attend the town hall, the presentation slides that get shared each week in the Zoom call, they have the links to the idea fests that are going on. I think they're happening. Some have happened already, some will be happening this week. And again, that's a place where you can go into a Zoom call, choose a breakout room to hear the projects, the founders from the projects talk about their projects, and you can ask some questions and really get a deep dive into what they're about, what makes them tick, and whether their project is worth spending our community fund on. But yeah, Project Catalyst is up and running, voting has started, and next week I'll try and do another voting session so we can see how that process will work, if there's been any changes this time around. I think that wraps up everything I want to talk about today. So thank you for bearing with. Any last minute questions? Otherwise, we'll wrap up.
Good.
You all good? Okay.
None from me, Jonathan.
Great. Thank you, Jonathan.
Well, my pleasure. Thanks for joining us. I'll be back on again next week, next Friday. And anybody who's got this catch up on this recording, do come in and join the Discord, dsc.gd/fluid/fluid7, or fluid7.com/Cardano Q&A to get into these calls. QA. Great. Have good weeks, everyone. I'll see
You
you.
too.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care. All the best,
All
everyone.
the best. Cheers. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.